Well, kids, welcome to another episode of Rim Shots with Sean right here on the Rock Rage Radio Network, brought to you by Barstools and Bandtalk. And we have a gentleman here today. It took us a little bit to get this lined up, but we did it. I'm happy to have Greg
Yeah.
Greg Julas Music. How are you?
Oh, just awesome. How about you?
I'm doing good, man. And one of the things when I was talking to Brian, we have
Yeah.
this little thing where we interview curtain call artists, and he told me you're not a curtain call artist yet. You're part of the sample artist package. Is that correct?
Yeah, just getting promoted by Brian and Curtain Call Records, yeah. So I'm not a full act yet. I'm not a full band yet. Uh, Basically, I'm songwriting with some guys from a different province. I'm from Canada, and it's kind of just in its beginning stages. So, but it's like I got a hold of these guys. They're like world class musicians, and uh, just like a real honor to work with them. It's hard to, I mean, just because I'm from a small town in Canada, just like 3,000 people.
Where
So,
are you located?
Three Hills, Alberta.
Okay, so I'm in Halifax, Nova Scotia, man.
Okay, right on. Okay,
Yeah.
so yeah, just like 3,000 people. It's hard to find. I mean, it's hard to put a band together here. They don't last too long. The bands here is just people are going different directions, and
All right, so we're back with Greg. We had some internet issues. Jason can take care of those. Our crack producer, Jason McCorson. So fellow Canadian, so that's interesting. So how long you been doing the sampler thing, or throwing your hat in the ring with that?
just like probably 7 years, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, just like going back and forth with some guys from BC. They're just really awesome. I got a hold of them through Facebook actually, and
Yeah.
they're just like top notch guys. Like I kind of was really, I don't know what the word is, but I just
Well, it's
found
quite
them
amazing
and
how really one of the things that I've certainly found. I started this podcast. It was 5 years ago this week.
mhm.
Um, and as you meet people, you realize you think the music world is so huge, and it's actually really quite small.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, for sure. I believe that. And it's just yeah, it's just I mean, I'm just honored to work with them. It just like I never thought I would work with such top-notch guys ever, but it has worked out that way. So, and
So now,
it's
what have
just,
you been doing, Greg? You've been recording with these folks, and you've been submitting stuff to Curtain Call for other artists, or how's it working with what you're doing?
I mean, I just got a hold of Brian from Curtain Call, and they were just treating me so good. So I was just like, I just want to keep that rolling if if I can, as much as possible. And they're just really awesome to work with. Like just doing all these promotions, and I mean, I think that's another like a real honor. I don't know what the word is to say, but it's like it's just like you don't get opportunities like that very often. That's what I would say about that. And it's really, I mean, it's probably the best thing that's happened to me so far. I mean, I've got a lot of uh, songs like in the number one on indie charts and stuff like that. Uh, like over the years, and I've done pretty good with my music, and but I think these guys they're on a different level, and they're just the promotions they do are just on a different level. So, mm,
Yeah, the landscape in this business has changed so much, and you're right because so what I do is Brian hooks me up once a week with one of their artists, and
yeah,
we interview them, and everyone has a little bit of something that's different. They brought country artists, rock artists, writers like yourself.
yeah,
One of the things that they all say is that there's a great communication between the artist and the label, and that the
yeah,
label really does a great job and nonstop promotes those artists to try to
yeah,
help them,
yeah.
reach their goals.
Yeah, I believe that's 100%. Yeah, they're just really great to work with and friendly guys, and they really listen. they really listen to me and when I'm talking to them about stuff, and they seem to have the best out for me, like best interest for me. So yeah,
Well,
I'm
that's
just
great.
really happy. Yeah.
Well, and I can tell you, I'm working with an artist up here. Well, we're both up here in Canada, but you're west and I'm east.
Yeah.
She has to fulfill something, from a prior arrangement, but they're waiting patiently, and then they're going to take her on, and they've been great just about explaining what they do, explaining, because not
Mm-hmm.
everybody knows how the business works these days, right? It's a real strange sort
No,
of deal.
it's a different environment, I think, from like
Yeah.
10, 20 years ago. Yeah, for sure.
Well, it's a different environment from 2 weeks ago sometimes because just when
Yeah.
you think you got to figure it out, some of the streaming services will throw a wrench into your plans and change up how
Yeah.
things go. It's really quite frustrating sometimes.
It is like, yeah, it's just evolving so fast. So yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
you mentioned that you're writing with a few other writers.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what's your process in terms of, like, do you put some stuff together and send it to Brian? Just kind of, does he look for stuff, or you just send it to him and he just kind of they pick up what they need? How does it work?
Well, the last couple songs, they got, well, I was looking to promote it, and I was really posting on a lot of their stuff on Facebook, and they actually got a hold of me,
Right.
and then I sent. They just said they would promote my songs. So, uh, and the way I guess the way, if you're asking how I write, the songs, usually I've just written them. I just come up with a musical idea, like, and then kind of develop it, and then I would send it to the other band members. They're, I mean, the other players, I should say,
Yep.
and they would give me some, like a drum track or a bass track, and then it would just kind of develop from there, into a song. And but just recently, I just said, "You guys just send me something, send me something," because I wanted to like branch out, and like, a lot of bands, you get better musical ideas when the whole band is involved, right?
Right.
Because there's so much more creativity happening between players and stuff like that. And I just said, yeah, you guys send me something, because I want, just kind of open that up a bit. So they sent me just something really, just incredible stuff, just like yesterday, for a song, and I'm just looking forward to getting it in my studio and putting some vocal stuff down on it. And
So in terms of like what you do in genre and stuff, do you stick to a particular genre? Or you just kind of, are you all over the map? Because I mean, I used to love those old
yeah,
shrapnel records. I'm dating myself here, but the old guitar shredder guys where you never knew what you're going to get, right? But
yeah.
there was always a mixed bag. Well,
Hmm.
how do you, genre wise, where do you find yourself?
I just, I mean, I'm a big Soundgarden guy, like big Soundgarden guy.
Yeah.
So I like Chris Cornell's vocal style. I like their sound. I like that grunge sound. I mean, Nirvana is kind of in there too, like Pearl Jam, and
Hmm.
but I think Soundgarden is the big one for me. Just like that kind of dark kind of sound, like, what would be called?
Well, they used to
Yeah,
call it grunge back in the day.
well, it's grunge. I'm trying to think of the word for the chording sound of it.
Oh,
Um,
uh,
uh,
well, it's like diminished type stuff, is it not?
yeah, diminished stuff, and yeah.
Yeah, I'm a drummer, and I know that. That's very sad, but well, because here's the thing, and I mean, you may or may not know this, but during that time,
Mm-hmm.
Sub Pop Records had signed Nirvana, and they were signing like the Melvins and those guys, and
Mm-hmm.
one of their executives came out to Halifax for a vacation
Oh, okay.
and saw a couple of bands, and they signed a couple of bands on the spot here, and then Sub Pop came in and started signing anybody that was that type of genre.
Right.
Um, I was in a band that wasn't that type type of music, so I didn't have the
Okay.
good fortune of getting signed. However, Halifax became, they used to call it Seattle Light, or the mini Seattle, because
Yeah.
that's where Sloan came from, and all kinds of different
Mm-hmm.
things. So
Yeah.
um, I lived it, and one of the things that I always said was that scene was very good at supporting each other and having each other's backs.
Right. Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I didn't know that. I usually bands are kind of always fighting amongst each other, but that's good. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good. I think.
Well, don't get me wrong. Everybody else in every other genre was fighting against each other, but the grunge guys were,
They're all
they were
together.
great.
Well,
Yeah,
I've
and
seen
if you weren't
pictures of.
expecting it, you got a little bit of a music history lesson here today too. So you're welcome.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks.
um,
I know, like
so
Cornell and like Eddie Vedder got along pretty good. Like they seem to get along pretty good. I don't
yeah,
know about
it's
Nerva.
really funny. There's not that. I don't know what it was with,
Mm.
and they always seemed like they were such melancholy personalities too. But they all seemed to like mesh and get along, and
Yeah, yeah.
find a vibe, right?
Right, right.
Um, so are you on any sort of schedule with Curtain Call, or you just kind of feed them as the songs become available?
Just when I'm just doing it like one thing at a time right now. There's like yeah, just this next song is like high on my priority list, and I just want to get that done. Um, they want, um, I mean, they're just pretty open to everything actually. So
Yep. No, they're
I
good.
explained my whole situation, and it's a little different than most people have like a formed band and stuff like that. But I'm just like, I think some bands do develop that way. Once they're connecting like over the internet, they eventually might get together and be a, a regular touring band. But I mean, sometimes it just takes time for that to happen.
Sure it does. And I mean, the world's different now. I mean, as
Hmm.
Canadians, it's really tough to get down to the States because you got to pay a gob of money for visas.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
you can go
Hmm.
anywhere else in the world, traveling anywhere else in the world, and you can, I was just down in Cuba a couple of weeks ago playing down there,
Oh
and
wow.
to get that is pretty simple. And I went over to Ireland last summer,
Hmm.
same thing. But to go to the United States, man, oh man, it's expensive. It's an expensive deal. So, what
Right.
um, what are your goals or your end game for this? Like, where would you want to see it go?
I eventually want to get a full touring band. That's my goal. And to get out, like, because I mean, I'm just, I'm not new at it. I have limited songs at the moment, and I want to get a repertoire up. Like all these guys, like Soundgarden, like, and Pearl Jam, they just have just so many songs. It's just like,
Absolutely.
how do they do that? I mean, but
Well,
I mean, they must be writing like nonstop, and it takes me a while. I'm more like maybe a Pink Floyd. Like it takes a couple of years for me to get my
well,
stuff.
hey man, everybody's got their thing. Everybody's got their
Yeah,
thing, and it's what's right for them.
yeah.
Where do my viewers and listeners find out more about what you're doing and how to find your material and you know how to find you?
So how to find me?
Yeah,
Just like on Facebook, Greg Julas Music. On Instagram, Greg Julas Music. Um, TikTok. I mean, it would be just Greg Julas. And yeah, I don't have a website at the moment. I did have one, but I kind of let it go because I didn't feel it was helping me at the time. But I'm gonna get another one. There, I think it's a good idea, but it just at the time it wasn't working for some reason. But
outstanding.
anyways,
Well, Greg Julas, thanks a lot for doing this, my
yeah,
friend, here in the Curtain Call Corner.
yeah. Thank you so much for the interview. Appreciate it.
We're back. We're back on the Rock Rage Radio Network after this.
Okay, take care.